There exists a profound, often unspoken truth that every man of authentic value understands. Respect is not a request. It is a manifestation of who you are. The starkest reality is this: women do not respect your mere promises or agreeable words. They respect your boundaries. They respect your unyielding inner structure, backbone. And crucially, they respect what you refuse, say no to, far more than anything you readily agree to, say yes to. Most men witness the disintegration of their relationships, not when the affection itself diminishes, but when they cease to command respect. The underlying reason she no longer perceives you as a desirable, strong man is because you voluntarily handed over your personal power in 1,000 tiny, imperceptible compromises. This self-sabotage ends now. I am going to detail the 5 most potent boundaries you will ever need. These are not intended as tools to control her behavior, but as a framework to control your own presence and self-conduct with such profound clarity and depth that she is psychologically compelled to instantly recalculate and elevate the way she views you. If you are ready to adopt this level of self-governance, internalize these 5 non-negotiable laws. The common man operates under the fallacy that love is enough. The sovereign man knows that love is fragile without the steel scaffolding of mutual respect. When you sacrifice your personal boundaries, your internal law, you strip away the safety and tension that define masculinity. You become a soft, navigable territory, and no woman respects the man she can effortlessly navigate. To earn her desire, you must first earn your own awe. We are shifting your foundation from one of compliance to one of non-negotiable personal governance. 1. Never reward disrespect. If there is one absolute truth every man must consume undiluted and without mental cushioning, it is this: the very moment you accommodate disrespect, you render yourself psychologically dispensable in her mind. The duration of your relationship, the depth of your perceived bond, or the extent of your emotional investment becomes irrelevant. The exact second she perceives that you are willing to tolerate being casually diminished, deliberately ignored, challenged without rational cause, or subjected to subtle, eroding insults, that you will remain committed while she systematically dismantles your dignity. She stops perceiving you as a man she needs to earn. She immediately recategorizes you as a man she can merely utilize. This painful realization is precisely where the recovery of your power must begin. A woman's authentic respect for a man cannot coexist with his continued presence after she has fundamentally breached his standards. She may accommodate him, exploit him, or retain him for the comfort or convenience he provides. But internally, she loses all sense of admiration or aspiration towards him. She might verbally articulate her affection, "I love him." But the true narrative resides in her tone, the honesty in her gaze, and the manner in which she addresses him when the performative audience is absent. Respect is not found in flowery compliments. It is found in the unwavering consistency of her communication when she is under no pressure to impress you. When you actively reward disrespect, whether by your silence after her mockery, your apology for her transgression, or your return after she ghosts you, you broadcast one devastating message: my self-worth is entirely contingent upon your attention. This statement is the death warrant for desire. The psychology of the test. You must grasp that women do not test your boundaries out of deliberate cruelty. They test them because they are biologically programmed to ascertain your true strength. A man who lacks boundaries is not a safe haven. He is merely a soft, yielding space. And yielding, soft spaces are trod upon, not partnered with. When she challenges your core values, your chosen direction, or your authority, and you capitulate, she does not feel love. She feels a deep sense of insecurity. A man incapable of preserving his own dignity cannot offer protection to a woman. The blueprint for reversal. You must create an immediate consequence without descending into chaos. You must become the man who never resorts to shouting, begging, or excessive explanation, but who equally never tolerates disrespect, not even the most subtle instance. First, catalog disrespect. Recognize disrespect in its totality. It extends far beyond yelling. It includes constant interruption, mocking your professional goals, using past relationships to elicit a reaction, labeling you as insecure for questioning her constant communication with other men, or employing silent treatment instead of mature dialogue. These are all systematic micro-assaults on your inner self. Second, deliver the correction. Correct the behavior once with absolute directness, profound calm, and zero emotional reaction. For example, do not address me in that tone again. If this happens once more, I will exit this conversation's mark space. You do not repeat the warning. You do not engage in argument. If the behavior recurs, you calmly, clearly leave. No tantrums, no explanations, just clarity of execution. When this principle is applied, two inevitable outcomes occur. She either elevates her behavior to your standard, or she removes herself from your life. If she departs, recognize this as a definitive win. That is one less source of parasitic drain on your vital energy. Your ultimate goal is to become the man who commands respect universally, not just from the women in his life. Your life quality is determined by the standards you enforce. A man without boundaries becomes resentful, exhausted, and eventually implodes. A man who honors himself becomes an unshakable entity. You must set the standard. You leave the table immediately when disrespect is served, every single time. Never permit your emotional attachment to override your disciplined execution of your boundary. But how do you maintain this strength when your attachment is screaming for compromise? The painful truth is that if you are addicted to her fleeting attention, it indicates a profound deficit. You are not building anything in your own life worthy of your own addiction. Redirect your obsessive energy. Channel it into fortifying your body. Because a disciplined body is the precursor to a disciplined mind. Embrace pain in your physical training. That pain transforms into power, that power into discipline, and that discipline crystallizes into unwavering clarity. Initiate the business you've deferred for years. Cultivate a skill that relies on no one's approval. Stop seeking dopamine hits from social media. Start creating. Be alone, not as a victim seeking pity, but as a warrior refining his edge. Take cold showers to remind yourself that you control discomfort. Define a personal code and adhere to it with absolute religious precision. When you stop tolerating disrespect from her, you simultaneously stop tolerating mediocrity within yourself. That transformation means you stop needing respect. You command it. Your mere presence will change the atmosphere of any room you enter. She will not even recognize the man you have become. She will sense that she lost access to a man she can never manipulate again. Draw a line and stand behind it, alone if necessary, firm forever. 2. Guard your peace. If there is a singular mandate that will define the quality of the rest of your life, it is this. Peace is not a fortunate accident. It is a fortress you must defend as if your very existence depended on it. Because it does. The man who lacks peace is a man who begins every day on the defensive, scattered and reactive, constantly operating in a perpetual state of survival. He is not truly living. He is perpetually performing for an audience. Women, colleagues, friends, who would remain indifferent if he collapsed tomorrow. A man must reach the profound realization that his peace is his ultimate power. Not money, not status, not transient attention. Peace. Why? Because peace is the foundational state from which your decisions become chosen rather than forced reactions. It is the state where you remain unmoved by insults, unburdened by the need to explain yourself to skeptics, unshaken when someone exits your life, and unmotivated to chase validation that costs your integrity. Peace is the invisible, ultimate flex. You enter a room and people subconsciously feel its gravitational pull. When you speak, others listen. Not because of your volume, but because your silence carries meaning. The leak. Most men fail to guard this power. They actively leak it. Every instant response to a text, every unnecessary argument they enter, every chaotic person they tolerate, every favor agreed to out of guilt, every moment spent explaining their worth, each is a leak. Over time, this drains them completely, leaving behind a hollow shell wearing the mask of the man who once had ambition. You cannot forge an empire with a mind consumed by chaos. You cannot successfully lead a relationship with an anxious soul. You cannot command respect when you are continually seeking relief from others because you never established internal peace for yourself. Women instantly detect this deficit. They sense when your attention is fragmented, when your time lacks sanctity, and when your schedule is an open canvas for whatever mood she happens to be in. This does not cultivate deeper affection. It makes her feel she is steering the ship, and no woman respects a man who needs to be led. The fortress. Guarding your peace means consciously designing your life to be unavailable to chaos. It means examining every single input, your calendar, your habits, your relationships, and applying the acid test. Does this protect or poison my peace? If it poisons it, it is immediately, cleanly removed. You eliminate arguments because they demand you prove yourself. And men at peace do not offer explanations to chaos. You cease chasing because chasing pulls you out of the present moment. You stop endless scrolling, recognizing it as a choice to numb rather than build. You protect your space, knowing that access to you is sacred. Peace is the boundary that requires no explanation. You say no, and that is the end of the discussion. You ignore communication from sources that consistently disturb your equilibrium. You permit people to label you as cold or arrogant because they previously fed on your desperate availability. Let them speculate what changed. While they are talking, you are constructing an unshakable foundation. You train your body, not for external validation, but because physical discipline is the ultimate spiritual war. You keep your physical space ordered, knowing that chaos cannot survive where order resides. Peace is true power, because the man who governs his mind governs his entire world. The man immune to being lured into arguments, guilt, drama, or external urgency is, by definition, untouchable. This is the quality women desire, but struggle to articulate. When a woman introduces emotional friction, she is not primarily seeking to destroy you. She is seeking your edges. She wants to know if your world will bend when she leans heavily against it. If every time she probes, you instantly jump, she finds no core, only reaction. But if you sit back, remain calm, and hold the silence longer than her confusion, responding only when you consciously choose to, you announce that your peace is non-negotiable. She will either adapt to your frequency or exit your life. Both outcomes represent a victory. When you compromise your peace to retain someone, you lose yourself, and the man she claimed to love ceases to exist. Build a peace so profound that it offends those who thrive in chaos. This peace will pull in the right people and gently filter out the wrong ones. The supreme irony is that everything you once chased, validation, respect, attention, will begin chasing you. Guard it like gold, because it is. 3. Don't share too much. Preserve mystery. She fundamentally does not need to know every single detail about you, regardless of her verbal insistence. Her desire is to feel your depth, not to manage it daily. She seeks to discover you, not to carry your emotional weight. The instant you grant unfettered access to every doubt, every anxiety, every past wound, and every overthought aspiration, you immediately transform into something she was not prepared for. Her emotional project. Women do not develop lasting attraction to projects. They are drawn to men who possess the self-awareness and strength to manage their own emotional burdens, who speak only when necessary, and who consciously retain enough mystery to remain magnetically compelling. Society preaches vulnerability and openness, but look objectively at the results. Did she gravitate closer when you confessed your deepest anxieties? Did her admiration deepen when you openly wept over life's injustices? Or did a subtle, unspoken shift occur in her perception, where she began to view you not as her protective anchor, but merely as her emotional equal? The harsh reality is this: when you unload your entire emotional world onto her, she may offer temporary comfort, but she simultaneously forfeits her profound craving for you. There is a sacred, critical distance that is essential for preserving the polarity between a man and a woman. This is not emotional dishonesty. It is strategic distance. It is the space between the perception she currently holds of you and the unknown complexity she has yet to fully grasp. This mystery is the fuel, the fire, the intrigue that keeps her engaged and perpetually guessing. When the mystery is eradicated, the tension dies. When the tension dies, so too does desire. A man of strength feels deeply, but his actions remain intentional and disciplined. He ensures that his personal pain never becomes the assigned responsibility of his partner. He does not weaponize his past to generate sympathy. He integrates his struggles quietly and steadily. When you overshare, you create emotional congestion that overwhelms her. Instead of finding connection, she feels smothered. Instead of respecting your openness, she questions your fundamental stability. Instinctively, she needs to lean on you, not become your savior. The strategy: treat your personal narrative like a sealed treasure chest. Allow her to earn deeper access to you incrementally over time. Let her feel the weight of your silence and consciously choose to move closer to fill that void. When she asks probing questions, offer precisely enough information to intensify her curiosity and make her lean in further. This is not emotional hiding. It is polarity preservation. The majority of men mistakenly equate constant verbal communication with emotional connection. They believe that if she knows everything, she can never leave. The reality is the inverse. She leaves because you presented the entire narrative up front, leaving her nothing left to pursue. You transform from a challenge into a predictable entity. And predictability is the absolute enemy of attraction. This mastery requires controlled, strategic vulnerability, the type of openness that exists under the clear umbrella of self-control. You share your truth when it aligns with your purpose, not merely when discomfort prompts you. You stop seeking to be relatable, because in that attempt, you soften the unique edge that initially drew her attention. You must be comfortable with her not fully comprehending you immediately. That is what builds the necessary tension and keeps her engaged in the chase. Build an emotional fortress so formidable that only those who earn it can enter. You do not emotionally offload. You reveal your resilience. You become unforgettable, not by the quantity of information you disclosed, but by the weight you carried without making her carry it alongside you. 4. No emotional reactivity. Self-control is not the absence of genuine emotion. It is the definitive presence of mastery over it. A man who cannot be emotionally manipulated by the external behavior of another person has unlocked the deep roots of his personal strength. This is not achieved by becoming numb, but by refusing to be instantly enslaved by whatever fleeting feeling arises in the moment. The world is structured to provoke your reaction. Women are wired to test for reactivity. Weak men are defined by their reactivity. The man who becomes a point of stillness within the storm is the man who achieves silent dominance. Emotional reactivity occurs when your internal peace is entirely subservient to her external conduct. Once she perceives that she holds this kind of decisive power over your inner world, the relationship dynamic inevitably degrades, slowly, profoundly, and permanently. This is about being sovereign. Emotional sovereignty is the capacity to feel the full spectrum of emotions without allowing those feelings to rule your actions. It is the man who can stand before a woman testing his limits, a boss questioning his worth, or a stranger challenging him, and remain unmoved from his core frame. You do not need to lash out, explain defensively, or plead for acceptance. You must remain firmly rooted, present, and powerful without making any noise. Women test this quality because it confirms the reality of your strength. Is it situational posturing or foundational character? When you pass this test, she does not merely relax, she melts into trust. In a world populated by men who instantly fold, the man who does not even blink is a psychological revelation. The path to sovereignty. You cannot feign this stillness. It must begin with owning your triggers, facing the parts of yourself that panic when disapproval occurs or when someone withdraws. You must look those reactive impulses directly in the eye and declare, "You no longer lead my actions." Cultivate awareness of your emotional impulses, and instead of instantly obeying them, simply observe them. That deliberate space between the stimulus and your response is where psychological kingship is forged. This practice radically transforms your perception. You begin to hear the unspoken intentions behind her words, rather than merely reacting to the words themselves. You cease needing to secure the final word. You stop defending your character to people who lack the credentials to judge it. You begin living as though your attention is a resource of immense value. When you adopt this stance, those who once attempted to provoke you become frustrated because they lose their ability to move you. They are forced to question their own approach. Conversely, those who inherently respect strength are drawn to your equilibrium. You will notice that you speak less and observe more. You no longer react to her shifting moods, her silence, or her indirectness. You understand that her emotions are her own responsibility. If you can serve as the unwavering container for her emotional waves without being consumed by them, she will trust you more than any man she has ever encountered. This capacity to remain unlost is your ultimate superpower. Most men are mere slaves to emotion, poorly disguised as passion. You, however, exit chaos as if it were fundamentally beneath your dignity. You walk around it, above it, and through it without contact. No emotional reactivity means you stop handing over the steering wheel of your life simply because you feel an emotion. You choose your direction with disciplined intent, and that discipline builds your personal kingdom one boundary at a time. 5. Always be willing to walk away. An overwhelming number of men remain trapped. in careers that drain their spirit, in relationships that systematically strip them of their masculinity, and in friendships that tolerate deep disrespect. They remain not because they are content, but because they are paralyzed by fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of the monumental task of starting anew. Fear of external judgment. So they diminish themselves, offer forced smiles, and rationalize, "It's not that bad." Slowly, they fade into invisibility, not just to the outside world, but to their own selves. However, the man who cultivates the profound willingness to walk away from anything that fundamentally insults his soul, that man possesses terrifying, undeniable magnetism. He stays in a situation only because it aligns precisely with his highest standard. The very second that alignment fractures, he is gone. This is acutely relevant in romantic relationships. Women possess an innate intuition regarding your motivation. Are you staying because you are hopelessly addicted to her presence? Or are you staying because she genuinely contributes peace, growth, and alignment to your world? The former man is relentlessly tested. The latter man inspires her to present her absolute best behavior, because she knows with certainty that he will depart the moment she compromises the respect he commands. The loyalty, the willingness to walk away, is not a function of heartlessness. It is the highest form of self-loyalty. It is declaring, "I love you, but I love my values more. I love my peace more. I love the man I am actively becoming more." This type of detachment is not cold. It is psychologically divine. It liberates you from begging for crumbs of attention. It elevates the quality of your entire social sphere. It serves as an unyielding reminder that nothing is worth keeping if the cost is your identity. When you govern your life by this principle, people either elevate themselves to meet your standard, or they naturally exit. There is no middle ground, and that definitive clarity is the entire point. You must become so profoundly secure in your self-worth that you possess the capacity to walk away from comfort, pleasure, external validation, and even love, if those things require you to compromise your core mission. That is when you become truly potent, not a threat to others, but a destructive force against mediocrity, codependence, and any force that attempts to cage your potential. The most significant growth, clarity, and expansion occurs in the silence immediately following your final step away. In that vacated space, you encounter the next, higher version of yourself. Be willing to walk away from anything that makes you forget who you are. The moment you choose self-respect over comfort, your true life begins. The man you are becoming does not chase approval. He builds standards. He does not seek external understanding. He seeks to be undeniable. You were never intended to live on your knees, begging for acceptance or love. You were engineered to walk in silent power, with the unshakable knowledge that respect is not something you demand. It is something you meticulously design. You have now been given the structural blueprint for self-governance. These 5 boundaries are not rules for a relationship. They are the code of conduct for a powerful man. If you felt that undeniable shift deep in your core, then do not allow this energy to dissipate. Lock it in. This is the beginning of a new epoch in your life. The version of you that emerges will never again tolerate being less than his highest potential. If this message has resonated with your deepest self, if it reminded you of the man you were always destined to become, then subscribe to the channel for more wisdom on Stoic attraction. Share this video with a friend who requires this foundational truth. Comment below, "I choose respect over validation." When you support this essential movement, you ensure that another man finally hears the truth no one else had the courage to tell him.